Welcome to Let Me Know If You Need a Podcast, the show that flips the script on the world's vaguest offer. Let me know if you need anything. Today, Kristen and I are talking about toxic positivity. So we're going to talk about what it is, give you some examples, discuss how timing matters when delivering a positive message, talk about why we do this with some comments from experts like Brene Brown and Susan David, and then also discuss some ways to avoid being toxically positive with those you love. Stay tuned. Good stuff to come. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Let Me Know If You Need a Podcast. Today, we're talking about toxic positivity. So let's start with what is toxic positivity in case you don't know. Maybe you're a toxic positivity or look that up.
I'm not. Are you?
No, I don't think so. I'm a positive person. I don't think I'm toxically positive.
I think you're a realist. And I think you gravitate more on the positive side. At least for
I
me.
do.
You lift me up,
But
man.
let's
I'm
discuss the difference. So
Okay.
toxic positivity, the actual definition is responding to pain with forced optimism instead of empathy. So you're looking at specifically someone that's undergoing a painful or difficult life moment, and you are basically not acknowledging the pain, the hurt, the fear, whatever might be happening, and you're trying to cover it up with sunshine and rainbows. So
yeah, a key indicator might be, well, look on the bright side.
oh, there's so many good toxic positivity lines, which we will share for you. I don't think I'm toxically positive. I do appreciate a positive outlook on life. And I think that when I was going through cancer, that was very important because it helped me to alleviate some stress. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't, I would often like get up and mentally make myself be grateful for the day or be grateful for the fact that I had good medical care or that type of thing. And I think that's different because that was my choice to be in that space.
Yes.
So I was getting my head
Someone's
right.
not telling you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's kind of, I think, the difference there. But
But I'm sure you experienced so many people like,
for sure I have. Yes. So we're going to talk about that. But I want to give people some very specific examples that I know everyone has heard of because I also feel like they're all over social media too. And t-shirts. There's a lot of t-shirts. So I know everyone's heard this one. Good vibes only. Often on the back of a Jeep Wrangler, on the tire cover, you will see good vibes only.
I hate that one.
I like to drop "it could be worse" on my children all the time. And I don't think I'm alone in that, but I do that
My mom does that.
often. And then there's also like the "don't be upset, calm down, just take a deep breath."
If you want me to not calm down, you poke that bear. I will, oh God, I'll be a woman on the edge for sure.
I'm scorned.
Scored.
But
I'll go straight for the jugular.
yeah. So all of those, as we said, it dismisses people's pain. It makes people feel guilty for having the bad feelings in the first place. So often we're not asking for a solution when we're trying to share our feelings. We're just getting our feelings out. And then it pressures people to put on this like fake happiness, this fake facade when they're in public, when really they want to be home biting on a washcloth and crying in the shower.
Yeah. Oh God, I love a shower cry. But there is research that says it's harmful. Like, and I know we're going to talk about this eventually, but Dr. Susan David, who we listened to on the Brene Brown podcast, which we'll put in the show notes. But Brené, if you're listening, we'd love to have you join us sometime. Dream guest. And like by PSA, like we are in no way, shape, or form experts on the subject. It's more like we're calling attention to what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, the research that Dr. Susan David points to is that the toxic positivity, the people who are toxically positive, it actually leads to more like anger and depression.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because if you think about it, you're like not living in reality.
Yes.
And then when you face reality, you're like, oh God.
Yep. You're suppressing those negative emotions, which then leads to worse coping skills, higher stress, just kind of that cycle of just not having satisfaction in your life. So,
it's harmful.
Yeah. Sometimes the best thing you can do is actually let people wallow in their sorrows because
Yeah, give them
Yeah.
space.
And I think Brene is really good about that. So I
Yep.
would encourage people to, I think you can just search. There's like a bunch of, you can just Brene Brown Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. You
Yep.
got all the
Look up
things.
toxic positivity. Yep.
Okay, so I had my examples from my own experiences, which most of those I'm a little ashamed to say I think I've done some of these things, but I specifically remember when I was first diagnosed and I was in the oncologist office, I had stage 1, I believe is what my stage was. Doesn't matter. It was a lower stage. It was definitely not stage 0 because then I wouldn't have had chemo. So it was stage 1. I should know these things. I blocked it out.
Yes, you
Yeah.
should.
But I remember the oncologist was like, well, at least it's not stage 4. And so the problem in that situation is that I kind of knew her, and because I was in the medical field and I knew a lot of people in the area. So like, professionally we knew each other. And so I think she was trying to help and play on the fact that I had a lot of information about my diagnosis and I understood it really well. But it's still very, very scary because stage 1 still, I was like 39 years old. That still sets you up for a fear for the rest of your life, right?
And it's still cancer. Can we not,
Yes. Still
that's just,
cancer.
and she wasn't looking at you like a patient. She was looking at you like a peer, which
Yeah.
it's not fair.
Yes. And I did have to remind people often to be like, I need you because you're so stressed out that I like often couldn't process what they were saying. And so I'd be like, I need you to talk to me like I don't have a medical degree. But yeah, I think that type of in medicine, I think we've all done this. I know we have all caregivers, and I teach caregiver. I teach physician assistant students, so I try to work into my discussions with them that the better terms in that situation are more like I know this is a lot to process right now. You might not take all this in this moment, and that's okay. You may need more questions, and we understand that. And so rather than trying to sugarcoat things, just trying to let people know that you understand that it's a very, very overwhelming time because it is, and everything comes so quickly in that time period. So I think that could be better. Another situation I remember was you have to meet with like the financial chemotherapy is insane. It is, I don't know, $400,000 or something by the time you go through the whole 6 months of it.
Jesus.
So you sit down and they like look at your insurance, and I don't know if all offices do this, but the office I was at did. And they say, generally you're going to have X copay every time you come in and blah, blah, blah. And then, so she like said all this, and I don't know what our out of pocket was, but it was significant.
You must have mad Southwest miles by now.
So, used them all up. Not sure if I'm going to die in a few years, so I thought that was a good idea. So she was like, well, at least you have insurance.
Oh my
And
God.
again,
Shut
it's
up.
like, yes, at least I do.
Which
You're
shouldn't even be a
right.
phrase, by the
You're
way.
right.
Like, that's for a topic for another day, but oh my God.
So it's like what is it? Invalidating language in healthcare. And I think it can just be really terrible. It can decrease trust, again, like makes patients feel a little bit guilty, like that I should feel guilty for having insurance, for example, because other people have it worse. So,
Yeah.
just yucky. So that's kind of my medical examples.
Yeah. And I think for me as someone who has been lucky enough not to experience too much tragedy or misfortune in life. I hear a lot like to your point, oh, someone else has it worse. And it's like the other day, my mom loves that phrase, but like, she's like, oh, how's your day? And I'm like, oh, I just told her how my day was. I was like, oh, this day kind of sucks. And she's like, oh gosh, well, people always have it worse. And it's like, just you're better off not responding because it's invalidating how I feel. It's like not seeing me in the moment, and it doesn't feel great.
No.
But
I was totally raised by that generation. I mean, obviously we both
I
were.
mean, we were, yeah.
My dad's favorite saying was always, it's better than having your head cut off, which I don't know if that falls into toxic positivity or just there is no response there. I use it still sometimes because I kind of think it's funny. But
When you can't argue it, it is better.
you can't. But I also think I don't think we already said this, but I think the delivery and the timing of positivity matters. So some of these sayings or these things that we're kind of calling out right now can be fine if you're in the right mindset. So if you're having a great conversation and, mom, daughter, friend son is saying like, hey, I'm really working on my gratitude and like I got in the journal and I'm so happy that this is happening, then yes, jumping in with like, yes, for sure, everything happens for a reason and I think you're going to come out stronger. But everything happens for a reason in a different scenario, like when someone has just been told that they have a terminal illness, is not the right delivery. So
No, no.
timing is important.
Well, also, what you pointed out was like, it's the other person that's making the rules here. It's like, hey, look, this is what I need from you, Amy. Like, I'm really trying to work on my gratitude. Like, I know this is a bummer, and that
Yep.
opens the door for you to meet he or she where they're at
Yeah.
with all of that. So I think that's also important, and all of these things. And actually, Dr. Susan David talks about that. She discusses an exercise where she asked people to put 5 emotions on note
Yep.
cards, and they were things like, how have you felt within the last week? And most of them were like negative, right? It's like, I feel overwhelmed. I feel stressed out. I'm scared, all of these things.
Same girl, same.
I know, God, tell me about it. We're living in a hellscape. Anyway, and
Nothing positive here.
And then on the other side, that's like, well, write down the things you're grateful for. And again, that's like misleading. That's totally like gaslighting yourself to like trying to shift your
Yeah.
mindset. Like that's not going to help anything. What's better is what she coined as emotional agility, which is like recognizing how you feel, choosing how to act from it, name it correctly, and just not being controlled by it. It's like you're gonna feel so many feelings, and that's totally okay and normal. It's like how you bounce back from it is what matters. It's not tricking yourself into thinking things are better than they are.
Yeah.
So I think that's super
I
important.
love
And
that.
that's,
I love the acknowledgement. Like, and I think also you have to be at a point of accepting whatever shit you're in before you can like jump into this other mental state of all the things we want to do, right? Like, I want to have a gratitude journal every morning. And I just have like this app on my phone and I try to put 5 things in there. But some days the things are like, I'm happy to be sitting on my couch right now.
but that's
Or,
legit. I
yes,
mean,
because that's all I have. Like, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't. And I think it's fine. I don't know if it's useful to just give these little things that I'm forcing out, like little,
yeah.
just really,
Do you do it in the morning or the
I
evening?
try to do it first thing in the morning. Although I think it's really good if the people say it's really good if you do it right before bed. But
Oh, those people, they know what they're talking about.
I'm a morning person. So I have to,
Yeah.
my positivity slowly drains throughout the day until bedtime when you don't want to cross me.
My self-deprecation builds throughout the day. So I try to end the day with saying like the things I did really well. So it's like, oh, you're not a
You are
complete failure.
smart. You are important. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Totally. I need that. I will psych myself out for that.
Yeah. Let me know if you need a podcast is sponsored by GifWellSoon. Do you have a friend who needs help but is too overwhelmed to ask for it? Let GifWellSoon do the asking for them. GifWellSoon, the care registry for life's toughest moments. So we want to jump in now, I think, and talk about why people feel the need to be toxically positive. Is it cultural? Is it just the expectation that we have in our relationships? So if you look up and you read kind of like what we've been talking about, oftentimes people, of course, want to avoid those negative emotions, right? So you feel uncomfortable being uncomfortable, and rather than just sitting with it, you try to cover it up with a nice layer of, glaze, like on a cinnamon roll.
Mm.
And then we have this cultural obsession with being resilient and like really digging in when things are hard. And so we don't often, I think, let ourselves take the time to just be in the trenches and feel how bad things feel, which really, when you get into the literature in it, and this, like Brene Brown again is like the queen of this, it's often better to sit with the bad emotion than to just come out hot with what is good and what's, why we should be grateful. I think I had pulled out a quote from her that says, rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is a connection. And I like that.
Oh, I really like that because that's exactly what people need. Like when you're coming in hot, trying to like get your buddy to look on the bright side, I think what you're really doing is like saying, "Hey, your feelings don't matter," you
Yeah.
know. And I think
Yeah.
that's so true. And when in reality, it's probably someone looking to connect. You
Yes.
know.
Like
Yes.
validate the feelings first.
Hmm.
Yes, that sounds awful. That sounds really painful. Don't compare to other people, which is what we all like to do. And then just let people know it's okay to feel the way they feel, which that whole comparison brings me into the parenting examples because I think have a need to be toxically positive with my children. I've been trying not to do this since we've been like prepping for this because I see myself in all these stupid things that I say. But like, I have I have a teenager now and a tween, and they're very dramatic. I'm sorry, but they are very dramatic. Everything is like awful. And I am very bad about putting myself in their shoes. And so I will often be like, don't be dramatic. This is not a big deal, which is not helpful at all. Not helpful. I need to say something else. Like, I need to say something like what I just told everyone else to say. Like,
Listeners,
sorry.
share what Amy should say to her tweens and
Yeah,
teens.
please do. Because what I what I know I need to say in that moment now is like, I know that's really frustrating. Can I do anything to help you? But what I like to do is poke the bear and then make the drama go even higher in our household. And it becomes a spiral of emotions. What a joy.
Oh, I bet I can't wait to witness this in real life. So, so here are some tips I think you could use coming from both the toxic positive person and then also the person on the other end of it. So, I think one thing that we could all do collectively better as a society is how often do people say like, "Oh, hi Amy, how are you?" And we're just like, "Fine, everything's good." It's like
Oh, yes. I
you
love
don't
saying
need to
that.
like you don't need a trauma dump, but like you could probably be like, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm tired." Like
Yeah.
yesterday, Robert Redford died, and I mean, no one was
I didn't
talking
know
about
that.
it. I know, and which I mean, whatever. It's not like a national tragedy, but like he was a real well-respected actor, and we opened up a meeting, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, Robert Redford died," and everyone's like, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm sad. That's bad news. Like that's
Hmm.
really a bummer." But
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not like mourning him, but either way, like it did strike me, and I said that, and I don't think they were kind of shocked that I responded that way. But anyway, what the point
You're
is
going
that
to
I
get a
was
lot
like
of comments,
genuinely.
Kristen, from our Robert Redford lovers. And you're like, it's not a national
Yeah, I
tragedy
think
or
most people
anything.
would. I mean, gosh, did you see him? And oh God, The Natural. Oh my God. Anyway, um, keep it in your pants.
Hey,
Anyhow, but
she's
I think
got
the
a thing
point
for
is
older
that
men.
you we can allow ourselves to be honest in those moments sometimes, within reason. But I think that's a positive thing. Like again, it goes back to like allowing yourself to feel. I think on the other side of the coin, if you can recognize and notice when you say things that are like, oh, just be positive, like, or things that are akin to that, just like recognize it and then notice how frequently you say that, and then
Yes.
how oh God,
Oh, God.
how
There's
here it
Cappy.
comes. It's Cappy. Anyway, it instead of that, you could consider things like, gosh, I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm
Yeah,
here with
that's
you.
what I'm
Let's talk about
actively,
it.
yes, I'm trying to do that with the kids. I'm trying really hard to, especially like in these next years, instead of saying things like, oh, well, it could be worse, or like I had mentioned before, the classic, there's children starving in Africa, so you should
Hmm.
really like what I cooked for you tonight. Just trying a little, either don't say anything often, like sometimes I just have to not say anything because internally I'm annoyed because they're my children and I'm like, could you not make everything difficult right now? But it doesn't help. Anything I say doesn't help.
Well, yeah, you're set up for failure with a teenage girl, and you know.
Well, that's not toxically, that's not positive at all. Thank you.
I never said I was.
That's true. Always need a reality check here. Um, so I agree with you that trying to be a little more cognizant and like I liked how you brought up the how are you doing today?
Mm,
Because often I think I say that automatically. I'll be like, hey, how you doing? I don't really want an answer. And they know I don't want an answer, which is why people respond. So it's almost better just to be like, hi.
Yeah, it's
And then if I'm
filler.
going to ask, I should go in and ask about something like, hey, I know you went here this weekend. How was it? Tell me about it. Because then I think that actually opens the door for someone to share or be a little more, feel like you actually care about the response. It's not just your, como estás? Like, what's up?
Going with
Comment.
the flow, small talk. One other thing that, I guess this is like a situation where like context or relationships matter, but like if someone shares something that's not going well, I think also asking questions and follow-ups with them
Yep.
can open the door for a more meaningful conversation if they want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because that's probably what they need. Again, it's going back to the connection. It's like, I'm sharing with you that I had a shitty day because I probably want something from you, which is either like comfort or validation or something. And
Yeah. Which
I
is
don't
a
know.
great way that you've really done a nice job of tying this back into the point of the podcast. Let me know if you need anything. Great work. But I think that is part of the point of discussing this is that often when we come at people with this like need to cover up and invalidate feelings, we do close the door between two people like connecting and being able to ask for help. And
Right.
so, like you said, if somebody's truly opening up to you and saying like, "Oh my God, I'm having such a hard time. Whatever is happening, I'm caring for my dad, and he's being more forgetful, and I'm having to go over there. It's taking up a lot of time." Great moment to then come in and say like, "That sounds awful. Let me know. Don't say let me know if you need anything, but say." Could I bring dinner over tonight? Would that be helpful for you? It'd take something off your plate. Can I pick up your groceries this week? I think
Oh,
that
you're going to be late for that meeting. Totally fine. I can recognize that. I don't know.
yes,
Yeah.
like let me make up a lie that says why you're late. It'll be very, very good, whatever it
Right.
is.
And I think like also like the real strength isn't being positive all the time. The strength is being honest with
Being
how you're
honest,
feeling, with other
yeah,
people through the tough.
acknowledging where
Yeah.
we need to go with this and acknowledging how you can help is really the point of it all. So, and just keep in mind that like, everybody has a sidekick. So it's okay to just have that one person. I have Kristen who continuously brings me back to reality. Just kidding. She's wonderful. She is actually an enabler. I don't know if she knows that. Not in a bad way. That's a good term. She's very
Ooh.
supportive. Not
Okay,
like
we
an
got to talk
enabler,
about
like you're
this.
going to feed me, drugs and keep me on my
No.
fix. That's another podcast. But everybody has a sidekick. Like Batman had
Robin,
Robin, you know, Butch Cassidy had,
the Sundance Kid,
good
which
job.
is a Robert Redford movie.
God, wonderful. Ding,
Yes.
ding, ding. So although you might feel the need to be fake with your outermost people, I think finding that one person that's like your core person that will be there and you can unload and you can truly ask for what you need is another really great way to kind of get out of the toxic positivity trap.
Amen.
All right. Until next time.
Enjoy.
Thank you for listening to Let Me Know If You Need a Podcast today. Remember, positivity is good, especially when it's real and well timed. Toxic positivity, on the other hand, makes people shut down instead of opening up. So let's try to create a space for honesty, even when it's messy, and allow people to ask for the help that they need. If you loved what you heard today, please visit lmkpod.com and go ahead and follow and share this episode with someone who could use a little encouragement. Share your thoughts and follow us on the socials. Also, feel free to leave us a comment on how much you love Robert Redford.